Okay, everyone, welcome back to a new season of The Big Hit. It's a new year, new semester. We got a bunch of new faces here, so we're going to be introducing them throughout all of our episodes this semester and this year in general. And we have our first segment of the year. It is going to be NFL season predictions. Who do we have winning the divisions? Who do we got winning the Super Bowl championship games? So we got Danny, Emily, and on the couch we got Maddie, Peyton, and Alex. How's everyone doing today? We're back.
Fantastic.
Great to be back.
Okay, so who wants to, I guess we want to get started with division. Who's winning each
so
division?
We can go through divisions and then championship game, Super Bowl winner, and then you want to do like MVP?
We can do that.
Defensive player of the year if we have time. So what division we want to start with?
Let's say the AFC ones.
All right, let's start with the AFC North. Our division, Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns, and Cincinnati Bengals. Going into the season, there was a lot of hype about the Bengals. They've started off 0-2. I'm still going to take them to win the division. Joe Shiesty, he's that guy, so I'm going to take the Bengals, even though I think the Steelers could do it. I'm going to try and talk with my head, not my gut.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. We're 2 weeks into the season. By the time this video comes out, week 3 will be starting. But through 2 weeks, I'm like it. I want to take the Steelers, but that's not happening. I'm going to take Baltimore as much as it pains me. I mean, Lamar has actually looked pretty good these first 2 weeks. I love Zay Flowers so far.
He's nice.
He's a very talented wide receiver. I think he has a lot of potential to be maybe an offensive rookie of the year if Anthony Richardson's fine. I know he went out with concussions, but I'm going to take Baltimore winning the AFC North.
Okay, so I think that the Steelers had some potential coming into the season, but then I just feel like after that first game, it's really hard to say that they're going to do good this year. So, I mean, I feel like the Bengals did really good last year, and I don't know, but they're kind of not doing too great now. So I'm going to have to go with the Ravens because they're 2-0. They're doing really well, like he said. So I guess, as much as it pains me, like Nathan said, I'm going to have to go with the Ravens.
Okay, I am also going to go the Ravens. It's definitely not going to be the Browns, that is for sure. I would be shocked if it was. The Bengals, I would have said them at the beginning, but it's not looking too good. I know it's only been 2 games, but just by watching it, you can just tell it hasn't clicked yet. The Steelers, same thing. I just don't think we're quite there yet. It's only his second year as quarterback, so I don't think. And Ravens, they've been looking really well, so I think it's going to be the Ravens.
Even though the Bengals had a really rough start, I'm going to agree with Danny. I think the Bengals are going to end up coming out on top. Joe Burrow, just that guy. Really rough start, but he's got a good group around him. Mixon, Jamar Chase, going to be really good. I do think the Ravens are going to probably finish second. It's going to be a very close second, though.
My prediction, I think 3 teams out of this division make the playoffs this year, and I think the Browns are one of them and Steelers are not. Sorry to disappoint, but I think the Browns have actually looked really well to the start. Deshaun Watson over his career hasn't used his tight ends and hasn't found success for that reason, but if you look at the last Super Bowl winning teams, all of them have world caliber tight ends. And Njoku is actually looking very good at that position, not only blocking, but also pass catching. And so I think they make the playoffs. I don't think they win the division, but I think it's going to be a close race between the 3 of them, not just 2. I'm going to give it to Baltimore because they have a wide receiver 1, and I don't think that it's the guy who's injured and on the bench, OBJ. I think it's Zay Flowers. I think he's going to be the best receiver out of this class. I've been saying that, even over Addison. And I think the Ravens run away with it. Lamar is just consistently good. And if he can stay healthy and Andrews, again, world-class tight end, still stays on top of his game, I think the only team out of that division not making the playoffs is Pittsburgh.
I am super interested to see how the game goes tonight with the Steelers and the Browns.
Chubb splits out to the top of the screen. Quick throw and picked off. The deflection and intercepted by Highsmith. Touchdown! What a start for the Steelers.
Because I feel like that's gonna I don't know, it's gonna show it's gonna be a tight game. Like,
if
you know
the
what I mean?
Browns
Like,
win, I swear.
I know. Like, I'm so done.
So we did the AFC North. Let's jump to the AFC South. North to South.
AFC
So
South.
Danny, you want to kick it off?
So that's Texans, Colts, Titans, and the Jaguars. So I like the Titans. I've always been a Derrick Henry guy. I believe that the Titans are always good. I don't see the disappointment with people that aren't high on Ryan Tannehill. I still think he's a mediocre starter who can do his job in the NFL. He does it well. But the thing is, the Jaguars, they're great. Trevor Lawrence, he's showed that he has made the step forward that people really needed him to last year, and now he has new coach Doug Peterson. And so I think the Jaguars are the team to beat in that division, and they won it, I think, more than any other team in that division. So give me the Jags.
I as well, Danny. I agree. I'm taking the Jaguars. You're in a division with two rookie quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson on the Colts, C.J. Stroud on the Texans. Both those teams are not good.
It's a young division.
The only team that could give them a run is the Titans, and in my opinion, they are not good. So if the Jaguars don't win the division this year, I think honestly it is a waste of their potential. You can't take advantage of this division. This is the worst division in football, in my opinion. And it's a lot of other people's opinion. A lot of people agree with this, and I don't know if Trevor Lawrence, he has a new weapon in Calvin Ridley. He's not suspended anymore, and he has looked very good these first 2 weeks. He looks like a favorite for him. I'm taking Jacksonville. They need to win this year and make it far.
I'm gonna say the same thing. Jacksonville, like they did really good last year. I feel like they're gonna do good this year. So, like, I'm piggybacking off of you guys. Like, definitely Jags for sure.
I'm gonna be different, and I'm gonna say Tennessee. I feel like Jacksonville. I know it's like different, but I feel like they're the team that always goes far and then just like chokes. But like they also like beat us too. So like I don't know. So I don't really know much about this division. Like Nate said, like this division is like the worst. But I just have a feeling that it's gonna be Tennessee because it's definitely not gonna be the Texans and the Colts. Ever since like Andrew Luck left like years ago, they have not been good. But it could be Jacksonville, but I'm gonna go Tennessee.
Nate took the words right out of my mouth. It's going to be Jacksonville. This is easily the worst division in football. You got to be stupid if, like, Trevor Lawrence is just, he's starting to find that confidence, and they would be stupid to not capitalize on this potential. I just think this team it's like this team and then like the other three are down here. You know what I mean? I just really think it's gonna be Jacksonville.
I mean, nothing new. It's Jacksonville all the way. Last season, we saw Doug Peterson come back after going under 500 for the last 2 seasons. Came back, actually showed that he is a top coach in the NFL. They do have questions at the receiving core, obviously, but they're the only team in that division that hasn't regressed over the past 3 years, and they've only gotten better. T-Law stepping up into his shoes. And I think Kurt's not bad, and ETN is a sleeper for, I think he's going to have a 1,200-yard year because he does have a good O-line in front of him. He's playing 6 games against subpar teams. It's got to be Jacksonville.
Yeah. Do you want to go with the AFC East?
Say for time purposes, let's do East and West at the same time.
East and West?
If you want to start East and West.
So East has the Bills, Dolphins. That's really all you need to know. And then the West is the Chiefs division. So the West, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going with the Chiefs. There's no comp in this division. The Chargers are their only really, would you say, competition?
Yeah.
The other teams, nah. The Broncos, sorry, Russ, you're not cooking. And yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs all the way. There's just no stopping Patrick Mahomes. I know they looked a little rough their first 2 games, but it's still the Chiefs. It's Andy Reid, it's Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce's back. He's healthy. Give me the Chiefs. Now, in the AFC East, this is a very close division, and it's a good division. If Aaron Rodgers was healthy, I would be leaning towards the Jets, but we all know Aaron Rodgers suffered the Achilles injury, so that makes me think Buffalo. But I'm not going to take Buffalo. Josh Allen, I just think he's too shaky. He's not consistent enough. They've lost games they're not supposed to lose. So that being said, I'm going to take the Dolphins. Tua looks unbelievable his first 2 games. Against the Patriots, they looked good. And their first game of the year, he threw for 400 yards. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, it's arguably the best receiving core in the NFL. Raheem Mostert's been playing well. Bradley Chubb on defense, Xavier Howard. I really like this Dolphins team, and I'm going to be picking them to go far later on in the season. So give me the Dolphins.
Okay, I am going for the AFC West. I'm going to be different here because I have not been a fan of this but the Chiefs receiving core. Mahomes only has Travis Kelce. We saw game 1 how that went without Travis Kelce, and I understand Kelce had a touchdown week 2. But, like, who else does Mahomes have? Kadarius Toney was not good week 1. I'm not high on Kadarius Toney. I know the Chargers are 0-2 right now. This is the year the Chargers have, in my opinion, and they have to take advantage of the Chiefs losing a lot of key pieces. So I believe Justin Herbert and them can recoup starting 0-2. I'm actually going to take the Chargers winning this division. It's going to come down to the final couple weeks. So I think they have a game against the Chiefs, maybe. I think one of those final 2 games. And whoever wins that game was probably winning the division. I am actually going to take the Chargers to be different there. And for the East, I will say about the Jets, I was not even high on them with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I didn't think he was going to adjust to that scheme quick enough. And it's going to be a question. I think he's going to come back next year, but if he doesn't, that might be one of the craziest trades of all time for a player to not play like 3 snaps. And I don't think he had a complete pass at all, too. So I, as well, am going to take the Miami Dolphins. I'm high on Tua this year. It's all about if he can stay healthy. Yep. If he gets any concussions this year, he's going to be out a couple weeks. That cannot happen. The offensive line has to protect Tua this year. And through these first 2 games, they have looked amazing. The receivers getting open, especially Tyreek Hill. This is the Tyreek Hill we saw with Patrick Mahomes that I personally did not see with Tua last year. It took a year of getting used to the new offense. I like Miami this year. They looked amazing.
So I'm gonna go with the what am I thinking? Oh, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs for the first division because I just feel like they had a little bit of a rough start, like he said. I didn't really like Kadarius Toney either. He really didn't impress me, obviously, but I still think they're gonna pull through because Patrick Mahomes is gonna do his thing and pull through. I think he's made it to the Super Bowl 2-3 years in a row now. So he's gonna want that again. I feel like he's gonna pull through. So I'm going with Chiefs, and then I'm between the Bills and the Dolphins. That's a tough choice because I feel like the Bills always make a running, but they always you said they always end up choking. So, I think I'm going to go with the Dolphins because, like he said, 2-0 is looking really good. So, I'm going to say Dolphins for that.
Okay, for the West, I'm going to go the Chiefs. I just don't think anyone else in that division is good enough. Even the Chargers, their start just wasn't that good. The Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he just knows what he's doing. He always pulls through. And Raiders and Broncos, they're just awful. The East, I am gonna go the Bills. Same thing. I feel like they're just one of those teams that just always pulls through. No matter what. Miami doesn't have a great track record, and even with Tua, he's iffy, getting hurt. I just feel like the Bills have a better chance at pulling through.
All right, you going?
I'm going to have Alex go first.
Yeah. So I think out of both divisions, I'll make it quick. In the East, I don't know. I think I want to go Bills because I feel like we have this discussion about the Dolphins every year. Tua always is phenomenal. He's an MVP candidate until week 8. And then he falls off of a cliff. Every year it happens, regardless if you have money on him or not. And so I don't think that he is a playoff caliber player. I think that in 3 years, the Dolphins are going to move on from him. He has a great receiving core there, but it's one ankle injury away from completely blowing up. It's an incredibly shallow team, and the defense, while they will get Ramsey back, is incredibly shallow up front. They have a good D lineman, but their linebacking core is severely lacking, and that leaves a hole for really good running, of which nobody in the division really has, except for, I think, the Bills. I think on the ground they can make you pay, and I think the Bills pull through. They're just an all-round solid team. I know it's very predictable, but I think their tight end core got a lot better over the offseason. I'd take the Bills. And then going to the West, I don't really like any of these teams, to be honest. The Chiefs' wide receiving core, obviously questionable. That's the biggest thing. I don't know why they didn't go after DeAndre Hopkins. I don't get it. And that would have made them a surefire Super Bowl caliber team. But instead, there's a lot of question marks. And I would not be surprised, mark my words, if the Broncos pull through. I'm taking the Broncos for the West. And the reason is because their tight end core is brilliant. They have 2 receivers on their team that have yet to break out in wide receiver 1 role. But you look at what happened with Michael Thomas and you look at what happened with Olave in New Orleans. Under Peyton, he loves his receivers and they get targets and they get time. I think they got off to a rough start, but I don't blame that squarely on anybody. In fact, that pass interference call that wasn't called, I mean, it was one away. So I honestly think that the Broncos come through and surprise everybody in the West.
All right, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. AFC West is really hard, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Chargers are going to come back and win it. The Raiders are just a little too young. Jimmy G is kind of unreliable. In the East, I think the Bills are the more well-rounded team. I think they have that experience in all the positions, just all around. Dolphins will make a run, but I just don't see them having the strength. They don't have the depth.
Okay, so we are now going to do, due to time reasons, all the NFC divisions at once. So, Danny, you want to kick it off?
All right, NFC North, that's with the Bears, Packers, Lions, and Vikings. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings. I think this is a weak division. I think the Packers look really good. Packers are going to be the second best team in this division. Lions are going to be third, even though they have a lot of hype. But I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins, he's always just so solid to the point where they're going to be the best out of the pack. Justin Jefferson, best receiver in the NFL. I'm really high on the Vikings this year. I know they're 0-2, but trust me, they're going to pull through. They're going to win this division. They're going to be one of the best teams in the NFL. For the NFC East, listen, guys, this division was the worst division in the NFL a few years ago. It was the NFC Least. It's now the NFC Beast. This is the best division in the NFL. I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys. I think right now this is the best team in the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys have looked phenomenal. Dak Prescott's looked great. CeeDee Lamb is taking big hits. Tony Pollard looks good. The defense is the best part of this team, too. So I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. NFC South, this is the worst division in football, in my opinion. Falcons, not good. They have Bijan Robinson. That's it. Saints are shaky, unproven. Bryce Young on the Panthers, rookie quarterback. He's not going to do anything. Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield. It's Baker Mayfield. So out of all these garbage teams, pack them in together. I got to pull one out. I'm going to take the Saints solely because I think Derek Carr has the most experience on this team, and I think it's the best team out of all these teams. So I'm gonna roll with the Saints there. Then the NFC West, I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers. I know it's just an obvious pick. They have the best roster in the NFL. Simple as that. Give me the Niners.
Okay, so very quickly from mine, I'm going to start with the NFC East. I'm as well going to take the Cowboys. I wanted to take the Eagles, but this Cowboys defense has looked spectacular these first 2 games. They single-handedly beat people in fantasy football just by themselves, which is kind of crazy. NFC North, I'm going to break this down very quick. This is Motor City's year. The Detroit Lions are a new team. This is like the best Detroit Lions team I have seen in my entire lifetime, and I was born in 2001, which is crazy. Like, I've never seen a Lions team with this much hype in my life. They are by far probably my second favorite NFL team behind the Steelers, of course. But, like, if you asked me at the beginning of the year that Jared Goff is possibly leading a playoff team and he's, like, a threat to be a good quarterback this year and lead this team to the promised land and make a deep playoff run, you would call me crazy last year. But this is the year Jared Goff has potential to lead this young group of players. I really wish they had Williams still, and he went, I think, to New Orleans. That was a big loss for them. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of my favorite wide receivers, has a lot of talent. He can be flashy. I know David Montgomery is in a little bit of an injury situation, but I want to see how Gibbs can do, the guy they drafted with the 10th overall pick. This is the biggest hype the Lions have had in their history, in my opinion, and I think they take advantage. Detroit wins the division. NFC South, like you said, take a name out of the hat. I'm going to be different. I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons for some reason. I mean, some games come down to special teams, and in my opinion, they have one of the best kickers in the whole league. Young Hoku, He is a very efficient kicker, and the Falcons they just won a game on a field goal. So that just proves all the Falcons games come down to like 1 point. That's why I'm taking the Falcons, but I could easily see every team in this division finishing like 7-10. Winning, I think whoever wins it gets bumped out of the playoffs first round. And then NFC West, I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers. It's just simple. They're too good.
Okay, so the NFC East, I'm probably going to take the Eagles just because they made it to the Super Bowl last year. Like, I feel like they're going to, like, carry that through, like, this season. They're going to build on that. And I'm also just a Cowboys hater, so there's that. And NFC West, I'm going to go ahead and take the 49ers because they're looking good this season, and like I just feel like they're going to do good this year. NFC North, I'm going to go ahead and take the, like that's a really hard decision because, like he said, like the Lions are looking pretty good this year. Like Jared Goff, he did do very good last year, and then he kind of started to pick it up, and now he's doing pretty well this year. I'm going to go ahead and pick I'll go with the Lions too, actually, because that's actually, I'd say Lions. NFC South, I'm going to go the Falcons because, I don't know, I just feel like Falcons. I don't know, not the Bucks. I'm also like a Bucks hater, so
Yeah, it's the
I'm
biggest
going to go with the
name out of a
Falcons.
helmet.
Yeah, like that's definitely, I'm going to go with the Falcons, I think.
All right, for me, for the East, I'm going to go with the Eagles. Yeah, the Cowboys are good, but, like, I just can't, like, you could not pay me to say the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I
Fair.
don't care. Like, sure, like I just said, they're good, but, like, I just can't do it. The North, I'm also going to go with the Lions just because, obviously, Green Bay lost Aaron Rodgers. The Bears have the newish quarterback, and the Vikings, nah. So I just think it's Detroit. The South, honestly, I don't really know a single thing about any of these teams. I have a feeling, I mean, just looking at this, I just want to say the Falcons because they have the best record, but I could not tell you anything. I don't know. And the West, definitely the 49ers. I mean, they killed us, the Steelers at least. They just looked really solid, like, all around, and the other teams, Seattle's got Geno, but, like, they're just not there yet, but 49ers.
All right, really quickly, Eagles for the NFC East. I know the Cowboys are good, obviously. I think they have a very veteran defense and they're really good coaching. Shout out Nick Sirianni. NFC South, Lions. I absolutely love the Lions. Like Nate said, one of my favorite teams now. They have a really good coach, and that coach really gets them to play as a group. So I think that's really going to be what separates them from everyone else. NFC South, I literally don't know anything about this division, so we're just going to say the Falcons. NFC West, Niners, easy. Bosa, next.
Fair. All right, so wrapping up the NFC, I think in the North, it's easy. It's going to be the Lions. I don't see how an 0-2 Vikings team comes back. 2 weeks straight, they've had their receiving corps shut down, and that is their biggest weapon on this team. Their defense, they lost Adarius. They lost 2 pieces of their secondary. Now they got Murphy back there in coverage. He's the only guy back there in their secondary. They have no depth on that team, whereas the Lions, Jared Goff has never been a bad quarterback, and you can put that on a shirt. I love Jared Goff, and I always have. He's kept pace with some of the top QBs in this league. And there's a reason that he was traded for a quarterback who won the Super Bowl. He is not a bad player, and he has potential still left. I think we're going to see it this year, especially with the youth joining that roster between Amon-Ra and, of course, the tight end situation. Love tight ends. NFC East, I think the Cowboys win it purely based on they have an easy schedule for the team that they are. That being said, I don't think that they're built to go deep. So they make the playoffs, but I don't see them getting past the second round at all. Again, there's another team. We'll get to it. We're not at that point yet. But I think the Cowboys take the NFC East. They just have an easy schedule for the team that they are. NFC South, I like the New Orleans Saints. I do think that this team, that this division is in fact the worst division in the NFL. The Saints aren't bad. They have a good receiving core. Can they go deep though? Absolutely not. And I don't know if they even get too far above 500. The Falcons, though, I like Desmond Ridder, and I like the system that his offense is in. I think Bijan's going to start picking up steam, and while Pitts and London aren't getting the most targets, they're making the most out of him. And I think that he's starting to use his receiving options. I think Ridder's going to take this team further, and their defense isn't bad either. Bates is really, really flying under the radar, I think, for a lot of people, and I like their defense. And then you look at the NFC West. Obviously, it's Niners all the way, best roster in the NFL, and they just need to not be complacent, but they've only gotten better since last year.
Two things. I'm pretty sure the Niners were the only pick we all made.
Yeah.
The NFC West was the only division that it was all the same, but very quickly, we're just going to do Super Bowl, who's going to Super Bowl and who's winning the Super Bowl. So, Danny, you want to start it?
So for the NFC, I said it earlier, love the Cowboys. I'm taking them to go to the Super Bowl. Now, in the AFC, it's Chiefs or Dolphins for me in my NFC Championship. It's a toss-up, but I think that the Chiefs just have it more. They're more experienced. I don't think it's the Dolphins here yet, even though I'm really high on the Dolphins. I'm going to go with the Chiefs and the Cowboys in my Super Bowl. And I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. I know it's a crazy prediction. People hate the Cowboys. I don't love the Cowboys, but I don't think I've been as impressed from an NFL team 2 games into a season than I have from the Cowboys. I love this team. I think they look really good. I think it's the best defense in the NFL. Feed me the Cowboys all season. I love it. Give me the Cowboys for the Super Bowl.
Okay, so for my Super Bowl prediction, I'm not going to take the AFC will not be one of the division winners. It's going to be a wild card team. For some reason, I think the Bengals catch fire in the playoffs and towards the end of the season. I think the Bengals make it to the AFC side of the Super Bowl. As much as it pains me to say, this could be it for them to make it all the way. NFC, I'm going to take San Francisco, and I think Super Bowl goes to the 49ers. Every one of us picked an NFC team to win it all. Cowboys, 4 San Franciscos, and the Philadelphia Eagles. So it seems like the Niners are the consensus favorite of the group, but no matter what, we all picked NFC. So this has been a fun segment. We'll be back for our next segment, and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.